Have you ever pondered about the origins of tithing in the Old Testament? Let's delve into it. Tithing, a practice deeply ingrained in the Israelite society, had a clear purpose: to compensate the Levites. Unlike their brethren, the Levites, descendants of Levi, didn't have land inheritance. Their life's work, serving the Lord, administering the sacred duties of worship. So, how were they compensated? Through the agricultural produce tithe, a 10% offering from the other tribes as detailed in the book of Numbers. But there's another intriguing layer to the story: the concept of eating your tithes. This was no ordinary feast, but an annual mandate for every male Jew. Picture it as a divine savings plan, ensuring the attendees, especially at the Feast of Tabernacles, would never go hungry. The tithe, often produce, was the currency, only converted to money if the festival was far off. Now, isn't that an interesting twist to the concept of tithing? Eating your own tithes? But the purpose of tithing didn't stop at eating your tithes, did it? Tithing in the Old Testament also served a noble, compassionate purpose, providing for the less privileged. Every third and sixth year in a 7-year cycle, a portion of the tithe's produce was set aside for the poor. This act of benevolence, detailed in Deuteronomy 26, underscores how tithing was not merely a religious obligation. It was a means of ensuring that everyone in society, regardless of their social or economic status, had their basic needs met. Now, let's delve into the concept of tithing within a tithe. The Levites, who received tithes from the other tribes, further dedicated a tenth of their share to the priests, descendants of Aaron. This tithe of the tithe ensured that the priests, who served a crucial religious role, were adequately provided for. From supporting the priests to aiding the less fortunate, tithing played a significant role in the society of the Old Testament, didn't it? Now, let's delve into the intriguing Malachi passage. The essence of tithing was equity. It wasn't just a religious obligation, but a means to nourish the fatherless, the widows, the poor, and the landless Levites. The offerings weren't monetary, but atonement sacrifices. The entire discourse of Malachi is not about money, but agricultural produce meant for the underprivileged. But here comes the plot twist. Malachi spotlights a corrupt priesthood. Instead of presenting unblemished sacrifices, they sacrificed blemished ones, treating the Lord with contempt. They withheld the full tithe, acting as corrupt stewards. The phrase "rob God" can alternatively be translated as "insult God." The crux of the issue was a corrupt priesthood that failed to make the entire tithe available to those it was meant to benefit. So the narrative of tithing in the Old Testament is not just about religious obligations, but also about equity, compassion, and unfortunately, corruption. Quite a plot twist, wouldn't you agree?